Hello, everybody. Louise Eddington, the Cosmic Owl of Cosmic Owl Astrology, and I am here today to talk to you about the Leo new moon. I am recording this on, what day am I on? I thought I knew, and such an exciting time. Today is July the 23rd. Yesterday was the feast day of the Magdalene. And the feast day of the Magdalene is always on July the 22nd. And that's important because last year, Venus stationed retrograde on July the 22nd. And every point of that retrograde is highlighted on this new moon in marvelous ways. Now, if I'm going to talk a little bit about politics, because you know me, and this is clear what side I'm on. Look at this, and it's very relevant to what I'm going to talk about. So, just to be warned that if there's any disrespectful comments in the comments, they will just be hidden and you'll be off my channel. So, you're welcome to listen to the astrology for you, but I am unabashedly supporting Kamala Harris for president. She's going to be amazing, and she's going to win. So please donate, please vote blue, please vote as if your life depends on it. If you live in other parts of the world, just send us good vibes, please, here in the US. This is changing everything. Now, I'm recording this today on July the 23rd when Venus and Vesta are actually conjunct. And this image itself, let me actually, I should have I'm going to adjust it. So I'm actually going to be using it. So anyway, so yeah, oh, here we go. So, this is so Venus and Vesta. There's the torch, and because Vesta is the symbol is a torch for Vesta, right? And Venus is the divine feminine. So, it's like, whoa. And the cards are awesome too. So stay for this whole video if you want some hopium and some joy coming into your life. And it's another big turning point. And I love it, every bit of it. So before I just look at everything, I do want to say that this new moon that we've got is on August the 4th. It's on August the 4th, 2024, which is a Sunday, and it's at 7:13 a.m. Washington, D.C. time. And of course, a new moon is when the sun and moon are together. And we'll look at the astrology quickly in a minute and then talk about it. But I quickly want to hark you back again to the Venus retrograde. If you were lucky enough to be in my Venus retrograde class, next one coming up in February, I talked a lot in it about the rise of women. During the retrograde, we had the Eras tour, the real rise of Taylor Swift. Like, she was big already, but that tour has just taken her like stratospheric. We also had Beyonce's Renaissance tour. We had the movie Barbie the movie, and there was lots of others. But the feminine was rising. Women especially, but also kind of the feminine within, men who are not complete a-holes. I'm kind of taking no shit now. We are in this time. We are going to create something amazing, and things are looking so much more joyful and brighter. And it's building on things that began last summer. And on that note, on the politics, I haven't caught up with all the endorsements, but there's things like Charlie SCX saying that Kamala is brat, which is good for Generation Z, and that's the name of her new album. Demi Lovato. There's quite a lot of other women, particularly singers, celebrities, performers, have come out to endorse her. And Leo is all about singing, performance, drama, and Venus is is also singing, and there's other aspects in this. This is just astounding to me. When I put the chart up for the new moon, my eyes kind of popped out of my head. So before I do, though, before I put the chart up, I do want to say that this is at 12 degrees Leo. And the number 12 is a number of charisma, self-reliance, fun-loving, singing, all kinds of things like that. It's a very, very creative number. But also the 12 is the completed cycle of experience. Okay, it's 12 signs, 12 houses of the zodiac, 12 signs of the zodiac. The number 12 is always related to a completed whole cycle of experience and the possibility of regeneration towards a higher consciousness. So, this 12 itself is lovely. Now, it's also related to Pisces and the Hanged Man card, but I'm seeing this more in the way of a reversal, suspension, rather than the kind of often the sacrifice kind of energy. This is kind of about spiritual independence. It's also a crossroads and listening to higher wisdom. It's just so much good. Right, even starting with the numbers, because it's a 12. So let's just look at the chart, and I'm not going to sit with it on it all the time, but I do want to show you some things before we do. So here's the chart, here's the date and time. I will also say it's an 8-month, and we're in an 8-year, and 8 is a number of stability and mastery. And 4 is also a number of stability as well. So I really kind of think things are just having this amazing shift. I'm not going to lie, the Capricorn full moon that we just had, as I record this, was tough, but it felt like something blew wide open in many ways. And this is going to blow things more wide open. But I will point out, here's the new moon, 12 degrees Leo. 12 degrees Leo was where the exact degree that Venus stationed direct on September the 2nd last year. Then Vesta, and remember I started saying that this image is so Venus and Vesta, because the inner flame, you can see it's a flame, is at 20 degrees on the new moon. And that was the point where the Sun and Venus met on August the 13th last year, in the middle of the Venus retrograde. And then Venus herself is at 29 Leo. Now that is just 1 degree. Venus stationed retrograde at 28 Leo on July the 22nd last year. But this 29 Leo is also the exact degree of the new Libra Venus star point that came in October the 22nd, 2022. And if you want to understand more about the Venus cycle, there's a link below to my Amazon store, and you can buy Ariel Gutman's great book. I'm certified in her work, but I'm also going to be teaching the level 1 Venus cycle to my membership community. I was supposed to be starting at the end of July, but I'm not quite prepared. I'm getting there, though. It will be coming. And but not only that, though, this is right on Donald Trump's ascendant. Now, what else is happening on this new moon? The new moon itself, really the only major aspect, is this sextile, which is a supportive aspect of opportunity to Jupiter in Gemini, which is conjunct Mars. I'm going to say so. It's sextile to both because the new moon pretty much comes sextiles the midpoint of Jupiter and Mars. This is a really passionate, opium-filled kind of energy, but it's also kind of about, leadership, Mars as well. But it's reversed. Everything's getting reversed. And why? Because Mercury rules this Gemini, and Mercury is about to station retrograde the very next day after this new moon and go all the way back through the sign of Leo. Well, not all the way back, but a lot, all the way a lot back. And Mercury will station retrograde very early on August 5th Eastern time. It's still be August the 4th where I live, at 4 Virgo 6 minutes. So you can see that Mercury is pretty much stationed, and Mercury will station direct on August the 28th. Guess where? 21 Leo, where Vesta is on this. This is just blowing my mind, to be quite honest, guys. And this all tells me just collectively that women are rising up. So I'm not even going to just talk about Kamala Harris. Her, nomination, which will be confirmed, she has enough delegates, is just fired up women everywhere. And I'm not going to apologize for, displaying my bias, because it has. She was on a call with thousands of Black women that lasted hours. In the first 24 hours, there was like over 90,000, I think, in small donations. And then the big donations came in as well. And also, even in the first 24 hours, there was 28,000, I read, new volunteers signed up. And, previously there have been about maybe 200 a day or something. One day, 28,000, and there will still be more. But then as well, I'm going to, just mention where the middle of the Mercury retrograde is. I did a whole Mercury retrograde video, by the way, before all this blew open. And that meeting of Mercury and the Sun is at 26 Leo, which is on Donald Trump's Mars. Anyway, that's enough of that. Erica and I are meeting shortly after I finish recording this, and we'll look deeper at these things. We've got some quite fun things to look at on our charts and cards in black and white. So if you want to know more of that, follow them, Now, other things that just thrill me about this, and I apologies for just showing the chart all the time. I could name a million aspects, but I'm not going to. But I'm just going to point out that Uranus is at 26 Taurus now, and I have not put it on there, but Algol is still at 26 Taurus. It's been but Uranus and Algol have had their conjunction, and there's other minor conjunctions that I'm going to go into great detail in on my Substack blog for my paid subscribers on there, because I can't do everything on these things. But this one's important to my mind, because Uranus is pretty much exactly opposed to talk to the hand asteroid Lilith. She's kind of like that rebellious teenager. And another image that I might also use as a background at some point is that one of Kamala Harris in the debate with Mike Pence going, I'm speaking. Oh, that reminds me of her. Look at her. She looks like a hand, right? So Uranus, the big change bringer, the lord of lightning bolts. I had, and incidentally, this is right on Biden's Sun-Venus conjunction. So again, I'll look at that with Erica, but I thought the Mars-Uranus Algol conjunction had taken him out, but I now kind of have a different opinion on that. So you'll have to watch the other video if you want to know. Other things worth mentioning, Neptune. Neptune, we know, turned retrograde at that very last degree of Pisces. Juno has now come up to oppose Neptune. And it's aspecting really the Uranus and asteroid Lilith. And Juno was the wife of Jupiter, and she represents women's and children's rights. And she's in Virgo, which is a sign of the priestess, wholeness, and things like that. So this is not just about women. This is about allies too, you know, men who have that more intuitive, knowing side to them as well. So this is not about gender. This is really about the rise of the divine feminine, for want of a better word. I kind of hate that, but anyway. Another thing that I will mention, and then I'm kind of going to stop sharing the chart, but I've just spied another aspect. And I will mention that in a minute. Ceres. Ceres is retrograde. She is actually going direct on Ceres is going direct on August the 26th. So she's heading there. All right. And I will say that she is so far out of bounds. It's insane. It's just nuts. All right. She is on the new moon. Ceres is actually 30 degrees 42 minutes south. That is way out of bounds and eccentric. And Ceres is about what nurtures us, what nourishes us. She's also, you know, very connected to how we nourish the earth and feed all our needs, physical, mental, spiritual. She's also about grief and loss. And Ceres on this new moon, and I didn't include it in the chart because sometimes, you know, I can't include everything, but Ceres is about to conjunct, pretty much conjunct, Pandora's box centaur, Pholus. Pholus is at 7 degrees 45 minutes of Capricorn on this new moon. And he is what's been taking things out of the box and revealing all this, you know, things that we didn't know and things like that. And it's just going to happen rapidly, all right? But this is squaring the nodes. Ceres totally acting eccentrically, out of the box, out of the norm, bringing, you know, just totally like going, I've had enough. Now, if you remember the story of Ceres and Demeter, she killed the harvest because she was in such grief at the loss of her daughter, Persephone, who I see as Venus. We did that whole Demeter Persephone journey in my Venus retrograde class. This is just blowing my mind, guys. And it's square exactly to the nodes. It's also at 8 degrees. We're in an 8 month, in an 8 year. Any square to the nodes is a big, big pivot turning point. And this one is going to move towards that north node of Aries, saying, I am doing things my way and I am taking a stand for me. I believe there's been women's marches already booked. Anyway, so let me stop the share for a minute and just take a breath. And before I go back in, I do want to say, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment. And, you know, if you want to give me a thumbs down, that's up to you. I think it's kind of funny now. People just like, I'm like, you know, if you don't like it, move on. But, you know, whatever you got to do, it's kind of weird, really. Anyway, I do want to mention another few things that are aspecting to each other. And then I'm just going to kind of give you my overall thing. And then we're going to look at the symbols. And then we're also going to look at the amazing cards that I pulled overall. Okay, so Cariclo. Cariclo, her name means spinner of grace. She is the wife of Chiron. I've talked about her quite a lot. I've also done interviews with Melanie Reinhardt. You can find them under my Tea with Louise. She's the Centaur Queen, as I call her. And since she entered Aquarius, she has been helping us to weave this new story, but she's kind of this space holder. She kind of sits there and pulls all these threads together, in my opinion. Now, Carrie closed at 15 Aquarius in an almost exact supportive trine aspect to Jupiter. And Jupiter is sextile the new moon, which means Ceres is in a quincunx, sorry, an opposition. Ceres is in opposition to this new moon. Now, this is quite significant in many ways because Cariclo was discovered in 1997, February 14th, 15th, depending where you live, at 6 Leo. And that is the North Node of the USA. I'll do more on that again later, but Mars is also going to station retrograde later this year. I think it's December the 6th or 7th at 6 Leo, opposing her discovery chart. So I'll be looking at that in great detail. But she has this cosmic birthing kind of doula energy, and it just feels like she is pulling together these, like, create this new story, you know. No, I'm not going to get political again, but but what's changed for you, especially since last summer? How have you kind of stepped into this more empowered, I know myself, I'm going to fight for my rights kind of energy, remembering that everybody is feeling this, but personally, look at this. I never used to wear these colors before. I started wearing them after the Leo Venus retrograde. And I've also got quite a bit of bling and sparkle and other pinks and fun colors as well that I just never used to wear. I feel like it awakened and younger. Of course, it was combined for me with my Uranus square, but a lot of people have been impacted by this and inspired by people like the Barbie movie and Taylor Swift and Beyonce and Charlie XCX, all these women rising. If you remember at the Grammys, women just won everything. So, we're not taking over from men. It's just taking our rightful place, right? Okay, so equal, born equal. Asteroid Lilith, opposing Uranus. Asteroid Lilith is, in my opinion, the original Lilith, if you like, the original wife of Adam in the myth, made from the same dirt, made equal, as it was originally meant to be until in the myth. They're not real, but these are stories made up by men, probably to, control, or some men anyway. And then because she would not submit to Adam, she was demonized and cast out of Eden and turned in. She was like portrayed as this evil kind of baby killing demon. She's not. She is just like going, nope, I'm taking my rightful place. There she is. Anyway, so back to this. Let me see if there's anything else. I do quickly also want to mention that asteroid Hecate, you can't see it because I've got this picture behind me, But asteroid Hecate is at 14 Virgo, and so she's aspecting all of this as well. So she's in a semi-sextile to the Venus star point. She's in a quincunx to Chariklo, the grace spinner and weaver of new stories, and she is in a square to Jupiter and Mars. And Hecate is also related to the torch at crossroads in Virgo. And I can't believe this astrology. She is opposing Saturn, really. They're heading towards an opposition with each other in Pisces. And Saturn and Capricorn really are, the old rules, the patriarchy. They're not always the patriarchy, but the structures we've lived under. And Saturn is retrograde, and it's all blowing apart now. It's done, in my opinion. Does that mean we haven't got any more pain coming? I don't think that it could mean that, but overall, we're in this time, and this new moon is just powerfully like, let's jump and leap and lead from the heart, see with the eye of the heart, what do we desire to create, see those that we're going to vote for with the eyes of the heart. Have a look at them and look closer. Look into their eyes. Don't look at all the propaganda and all that kind of shit, and see whose eyes really look kind and sparkly and loving and whose don't. Anyway, but also in your life, this is kind of about creating what you want, not fighting what you don't. So I do hope that the women's marchers are very much for Kamala and not those stupid pussy hats again. I'm sorry, they were disgusting. I would not eat. I couldn't do one. But if you want to do one, that's up to you, if they mean something to you. All right, so let's look at the symbols. I'm going to look at the Sabian symbol first, but again, a reminder to thumbs up, comment, all the stuff. Now, the Sabian symbol for Leo 13, we always go up one, is an old sea captain rocking. And James Burgess says this is a reflection and depth assimilation of our experiences. He says the lessons and messages of life are complex, and we gain much from reflection and assimilation. That's all I'm going to say about it, really. But to my mind, this old sea captain rocking is sitting on his rocking chair, sitting on the porch, doing his life review. This could literally be a kind of life review of what we've been through under the patriarchal structures we've lived under. To my mind, it also says, and one of the other readings on jamesburgess.com page is our sea captain fights his battles over and over in his memory, but he's kind of done battling. He's at rest now. He's at peace, kind of rocking himself, just thinking about all these past battles. I thought immediately of Biden, the old man, Saturn, letting go of his run for presidency and sitting back and watching what he's created, because you've got to watch Erica on my video. But anyway, Omega symbols. Let's go to that. Okay, so Leo 13 again. The Omega symbol is hidden passages in a house. Over time, their secret has been forgotten. This is transforming and receptive. And John Sandbach says, you have in you the means to surprise other people and to do so in such a way that can open them up to a greater reality and get a clearer perception of the vastness of their inner being. You are especially perceptive when it comes to seeing how people are put together and how they hide from themselves. Your revelations can help them to rediscover lost parts of themselves. That's one side of it, and I'll let you take for that what's for you. But I will say that Kamala Harris, again, in her first speech to the campaign staff in Delaware, or was that there? Oh, well, it was about Trump anyway. She said, you know, I've prosecuted this and I've prosecuted that, and I know men like you, Donald Trump, she said, or something like that. So that reminds me of saying perceptive when it comes to seeing how people are put together and how they hide from themselves. So the Chandra symbol for this degree as well is a man paint or a human, let's say, actually, let's say a person painting scenes on a ceiling. Well, that would be, you know. So anyway, John Sandbach says of this symbol, looking all the time at the walls, we forget the ceiling until we look up. And that's like the sky really as well. Just as we forgot the hidden passages of the Omega symbol, the painting on the ceiling creates the illusion of space and thereby overcomes the limitations and confinements of the roof and ceiling, just as the hidden passages overcome the limitations imposed by more commonly used and obvious passages in the house. This degree is about creating more space, more possibilities, breaking open those walls, more options, finding new ways, breaking through that glass ceiling, all those kind of comments, but also knowing there are no enduring limits to what may happen or be accomplished. Talents and abilities abound, and this person or we or you know that you don't just abound in one. They don't just abound in yourself, but they're also in everyone else, albeit latent, hidden, or denied. Not in everybody also, but you know, maybe you can help see it and bring it out. So the Pleiadian symbol is the rewritten Sabian, and this is just Joe Biden to me, an old man on a porch which looks out over a stormy sea. I think he's there on his rocking chair, kind of orchestrating all of this. But anyway, in a very wise way. Azos symbol, an enlightened one, experiencing the eternal absolute underlying the ever-changing phenomena of physical existence. I just, honestly, you know, guys, I am just, I can't, and yeah, no, I'm not sorry at all for talking. It just applies to what's happening collectively so much. But please, you know, look at it within you as well. Okay, so, all right, so let's look at the cards. And I'm just, oh, wow, cards. Oh, could this get any better? And yes, it does. So again, please don't forget thumbs up, all those kind of things. I suppose it's not good for everybody, depending on their perspective, but we can hold space for them finding that space within them to realize, you know, what's really going on. All right, so first card, I had to chuckle. I'm sorry, is justice. And justice is natural law, balance, karma, truth, wisdom, legal matters, fairness, cause and effect, integrity, objectivity, perspective, and accountability. It's also the Libra card, and the element of air, and the South Node is in Libra, which are the scales of justice as well. And if you remember, Ceres and Pholus are square to that South Node, leaving something behind. Okay. So it could mean more court cases thrown out, but I don't think it matters at this point. Really. I don't care. He's done, in my opinion, but I'll look at that with Erica. All right, so the middle card is the caution, the Five of Pentacles, the lights in the background. This is Earth, this is Pentacles, this is you know, water, material abundance. It's abundance in all ways, actually. This is the Taurus card, which is Venus, yeah, Libra, Taurus, Venus, Venus again. Oh God. It's got the key there, and she can't see it. She can't see that there's a key to move through to this abundance. So there is that caution that, you know, you may not be able to see the possibilities. So you need to kind of to do the work to see them, to tune into them, to, you know, go and do whatever practices you do to enable you to really see the actual really amazing, life-changing potential of this new moon. And then we have the Queen of Wands, Kamala, you know, fire, a black woman as well in this deck. Oh my God, black cat, magic. Look at that sparkle on her hand. Anyway, but it's also within you. This is Leo. Well, it's fire. It was water and fire signs, actually. So it's got no one sign, but Leo is a fire sign, and we've got enough else going on around it as well. Enough in water as well. So this is, you know, the birth of this new moon, and oh, but this really is about courage. It's about creativity. It's about assertiveness, bringing new life. It's about magic and confidence. Have you ever seen somebody more confident than Kamala? She's so confident in herself. Well, find it in yourself too. The affirmation for this amazing last card for this new moon, and it's also Venus in Leo. You know, Venus is in the sun's sign. This is just, I fill my world with light. Okay. This is boldly expressing yourself, passion, spontaneity, bravely pursuing your dreams, impulsivity a bit as well, but adventure, again, confidence, helping others as you build your queendom, power, intensity, and love. And remember, guys, if any of you like watching my videos, you can build your queendom too. And yeah, it means what it means for you. Okay. So the Queen's message, just this last message for you. I'm just, I cried when I wrote my Substack blog this morning. So, you know, you could go follow my Substack too if you like. I cried when I looked at this chart. I'm just like, whoa. Thank you, Venus. Anyway, you are capable and fierce, and it's time to root into your purpose and find the magic you've been looking for. It's time to be bold and to step into the limelight of your life. Don't be afraid to be the center of attention. That's very Leo too. And for goddess sake, stop acting small in order to make those around you feel more comfortable. It's not your role to make others feel larger in your presence. It's your role to make them feel loved. Find your voice and allow your powerful voice to fill the room. Share your ideas and your message passionately, for it will incite respect and inspire those around you. Oh, I'm just like, oh, I hope I'm inspiring you to vote. Light the way for others by bravely sharing your fire. Powerful connections of love will ensue, so it's a perfect time to put yourself in situations where you will have a chance to meet new people, socialize and connect. Make sure your fiery, impulsive bursts of productivity are accompanied by laughter. Oh, I'm sorry, I really cannot help it, but Kamala has this belly laugh. Anyway, onwards, you know. Oh my God. Good times and a heaping dose of gratitude. That says, don't forget the gratitude. This card is not seeing what you've already got, really, as well as the potential. Oh, I forgot to share. stop the share. But obviously you were needing to see it. And that's it, really. Okay, so, you know, lots of gratitude, lots of finding joy and living joyfully, as to quote my friend Nora Herald on Facebook, operate from joy. This is such a hopeful, magical new moon. And please, you know, if you're in the States, register to vote, vote, volunteer if you can, donate if you can, do what you can so that the horrible times we've been through come to an end. And oh, I just saw a tweet saying Kamala's on fire. Why? Oh, it's the polls. Oh, the polls are already up. All right. She's ahead of Trump already in the polls. And I don't trust polls, but they're all heading that way as well. So she's going to win. I tell you, she is going to win. They don't have a chance. So excited. First woman president, and she's Black and Asian, and her husband's Jewish, and her husband's a nice guy. I don't believe he's a Zionist, which somebody told me this morning. They blocked me because I just told them I was tired of their comments, and they blocked me. Because he's Jewish and he supported some people after the October the 7th thing, but that was kind of before all the other stuff happened. So anyway, I don't want to get into all of that. But anyway, he seems like a really nice guy. I've read about him. They seem very much in love. Anyway, back to politics again. Oh my God. Forgive me if you're not in the US, but this is just so good for women and marginalized people and LGBTQ. And I'm recording this on under a Pisces moon that's square my moon. So I'm very emotional. So I love you all. And if you don't agree with me, just move on, because this is really good for women, Black people, LGBTQ, children, everybody. Even if you don't agree with all her policies, this is a shift. Okay. All right. I love you.